Well, it's that time again, and we have 21 things that are going to be changing massively inside of Destiny 2 this week. There's no particular order here, fellas. This is essentially the cliff notes to all the previous TWABs that we covered, just in case you missed one. So starting with Glaives. Glaives should be feeling a hell of a lot better. Starting this Tuesday, all Glaives are actually going to be getting a buff in both its projectile speed, melee damage, and reduced shield drain. On top of that, our exotic Glaives are also getting individual buffs. We're talking the Titan Glaive, now granting void overshields while inside the bubble. Helm of Saint 14 will also apply to this. The Warlock Glaive has increased speed and acceleration of healing turret projectiles, and the Hunter Glaive has had its damage tripled. They also increased the number of enemies that it can chain from 4 to 8. Needless to say, fellas, Glaives are going to be feeling quite nasty. Number 2, Flinch is now going to be an issue you'll be able to tackle with your stability stat. Flinch resist is now going to be tied to the stability stat as well as your resilience stat. And the main takeaway from this is that primary weapons overall should have more flinch resistance. Therefore, it should be easier to use under fire, especially in comparison to special weapons. Needless to say, for my max resilience guardians out there who like to rock high stability weapons, your aim, at least under fire, should be feeling much less flinchy. Now, the third big change coming this week is Airborne Effectiveness. This will also be a stat that is going to be added to all weapons and will be influenced by a number of different choices, including weapon archetype, exotic armor, subclass abilities, and you're actually going to need to build into it if you're looking to boost your airborne accuracy and aim assist, or at least mitigate the reductions you get by default. Overall, this is a toss-up between being both a buff and a nerf. It's a buff if you obviously build into it, but it's heavily a nerf for certain weapons, especially exotics like Stompies, which are going to greatly hurt your airborne effectiveness. Our fourth big change this week, current playlist weapons are now being added to loot pools of their respective activities and being replaced with new Season 17 weapons. Obviously, it's a new season, guys. Therefore, I shift in our loot. Change number 5, one-hit kill special kills are going away, at least the cheesy ones. Damage buffs across the board are being reduced. So all the cheesy things that we used to do with that 20% buff, whether it was empowering rifts, high energy fire, inertia override, all of those things have been reduced from 20% to now 15%, meaning we'll no longer be able to do the cheesy easy. Granted, no word about Loreley and how that's going to be nerfed, but yeah, the other stuff, nerfed. Now, on the topic of special weapons, change number 6. Special ammo scavengers will no longer grant you additional ammo inside of PvP. Special ammo bricks will only give you 1 kill worth of ammo. Overall, this is a special nerf across the board. No longer are you going to be able to run around with a shotgun or a sniper rifle constantly, or a fusion rifle, and use it from the start of the match to the end without ever pulling out your primary. You're going to have to use your primary. And Bungie also mentioned this is the last change they are making to special ammo. And the next change, if they have to go a step further, is going to take us back probably to like year 3 of Destiny 1, where we actively had to pull special ammo from crates. I don't know about you guys, but please, can we not go back to that? Just use your primaries. Change number 7, weapon archetypes are being adjusted. Across the board, guys, shotguns are going to be receiving more damage fall off and less aim assist. Fusion rifles, more damage fall off and less maximum stability. Trace rifles are getting both a damage and ammo buff, as well as artifact mods. Pulse rifles, lightweight pulse rifles are finally receiving that damage buff, reducing the number of crits required to get a kill, and a range buff, although it's kind of countered by the range cap of 40 meters. Submachine guns is getting a general reduction in zoom, thus a range nerf, although other submachine guns are actually getting a buff. More on that later. Machine guns are getting a damage buff, and Xenophage and Grand Overture are both getting a buff, but are not receiving the bonus damage to bosses. Although, let me be clear, we did damage testing a while back, and they're still going to be the best options. If you think Thunderlord is suddenly going to be the meta, think again. Change number 8, lots of exotics are getting tuned. Fighting Lion, a slight blast radius and damage buff, which, by the way, considering the special ammo nerf, you may want to consider getting good with Fighting Lion inside of PvP. Eyes of Tomorrow is actually getting an increase in boss and champion damage, as well as a rework. Guys, Eyes of Tomorrow is looking very good. Leviathan's Breath is getting a faster draw speed as well as increased damage to champions, but let me be clear, it is going to take an act of God to make Leviathan's Breath ever a go-to option for me. The Huckleberry is getting a big bump in its zoom from 13 to 15. Xenophage is getting an increase in its rate of fire. Luminarch is getting a reduction in its tick damage inside of PvP, but they're increasing it inside of PvE. Lawrence Driver is getting its body shot damage reduced in hopes of limiting all the cheesy stuff we were doing with Lawrence now for like ever. Skyburner's Oath. Honestly, Skyburner's is going to be such a strange one. I don't know. It's getting a complete rework. They're changing it to hit scan. It's going to have the highest airborne effectiveness stat, 150% 150 rounds per minute, which, let's be clear, is kind of a nerf, but maybe it's not. Part of me wants to believe, really believe that Skyburner's Oath might actually be meta, but again, it's up there with Leviathan's Breath, maybe even more so, to be highly unlikely to ever be a meta option, but we'll see. Last word, reduce recoil penalty on mouse and keyboard, thus making it easier to use, although, let's just be clear, controller last word is still probably going to poop on you. Arbalest, they are nerfing Arbalest, reducing the damage to champions. Now, I still think Arbalest is going to be fantastic, but yeah, they are tuning the damage down, simply because, I don't know about you guys, Arbalest became my go-to weapon for Grandmaster content. Graviton Lance is getting its Catalyst perks changed to Vorpal and Turnabout. Dude, Graviton Lance, again, primary weapon, Vorpal on it is doing 20% more damage, and you got Turnabouts. Disgusting. Grand Overture has now a continuous burst fire option for those that just want to blow their load. Coldheart will now be able to create Ionic Traces. Does this mean we're getting Arc 3.0? I don't know. Sounds a little fishy. Prometheus Lance will now do more burn, which if you happen to be playing Blade Barrage Hunter, and if we are actually getting Solar 3.0, there's a number of things that should synergize quite nicely here. Wave Splitter will now suppress targets on orb pickup and gain a longer damage increase from picking up orbs. Lord of Wolves is getting a massive range buff. Nah, I'm just messing. It's getting a nerf. Change number 9, Desperado is finally getting a nerf, which hurts my soul to see, but it will now have a slower rate of fire and shorter duration. Everyone pour one out for those God Road Desperado messengers. Now, I still think it's going to be good, but Kill Clip may be the go-to option for messenger going forward. Change number 10, Iron Banner is getting a complete rework inside and out, bringing focusing and rank rewards, and Iron Banner will only be coming twice a season. Now, we'll be featuring a new game mode, or at least a returning game mode from Destiny 1 called Rift. Also, level advantage inside of Iron Banner has been removed. Change number 11, a new Crucible Map. This is the first one we have received in 10 years. Now, it hasn't been that long, but it sure feels like it, right? Disjunction is actually going to be a map based in the Throne World, and it's going to be somewhat large. That's about all the information we know about it. But let me just say this. Thank God we're getting something new in regards to PvP maps, right? I'm getting tired of playing in the same old places. Change number 12, season ranks will be able to be purchased at the very beginning of a season. That's right. Eververse will now offer the ability to purchase the first 10 levels at the beginning of a season. Now, a lot of people are already questioning, is this pay to win? No, but as a content creator that obviously wants to level up very, very quickly, will I be dropping silver at the beginning of every season? Yes, probably so. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. Change number 13, all crafting materials will be removed except for neutral elements. Now, this was a big change. Bungie noted, and this occurred in the past before, where we had too many currencies, and the exact same thing happened here with weapon crafting, consolidating everything to neutral elements and also allowing us to pull 300 neutral elements when completing red box weapons. This is a good change, although I will say not perfect. Personally, I still want enhanced traits when you purchase them for a single weapon to be unlocked permanently. Just my thoughts. I actually think it would increase the longevity of grinding for that god roll, because it gets to the point where you're not really grinding for that god roll, but instead grinding for the total roll, the roll that allows you to swap between both the god roll and PvE and PvP. And considering the Ascendant alloy costs, I think this is completely acceptable to allow for permanent unlocks. Change number 14. Guys, we're getting a new dungeon, and that dungeon will be launching on Friday, May the 27th. It will be dropping all kinds of new gear and a dungeon exotic, and the gear will be Artifice armor, at least from the master mode of this dungeon. Excited to see what this dungeon is going to bring, but this is definitely going to be the pinnacle activity for the new season. Change number 15. We're getting a new 3.0 subclass this week, which, by the way, we have no clue what it is. We're assuming it's solar, but many claim it's going to be arc. And honestly, there have been sandbox changes on either side, so I couldn't tell you what it is. Either way, we just hope it's going to be good. Change number 16. We are receiving a legacy raid and dungeon rotator playlist, and playing through this old content will reward you with pinnacle drops. Guys, this is a perfect way of bringing old content and cycling it back into our weekly rotation. So whether it's the Deep Stone Crypt, Vault of Glass, Vow of the Disciple, or other raids, they will now serve a purpose other than just being dead content. Change number 17, crafted weapons will now have a masterwork border when enhanced perks are slotted in. Thank you, baby Jesus. I don't know about you guys, there seems to be something incomplete about those weapons that you craft and you spend so much time leveling. All they have is that little insignia on it, and that's it. We want gold, baby. Something to flex. Change number 18, we're getting new Trials gear. That's right. The gear's looking quite nasty. Most notably, the Hunter gear spear, which, yep, it's a monkey. Like, straight up, it's a monkey, which is pretty comical considering hunters are all apes. Gonna be kind of difficult with Stompy's getting a big nerf, but hey, you can try. Change number 19. Solstice is getting a complete rework with things like event cards and event seals and a new game mode. They're also dropping heroes. It's just gonna be called Solstice now, with what looks to be a horde mode called Bonfire Bash in the EAZ. Now, I know this is still a while out, but I'm excited to see some Solstice love because it's honestly been pretty stale for a couple years now. And change number 20, we are finally getting more vault space. It's 100 more slots, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm gonna fill it up fast, especially with this new season. Hell, we're already hitting the cap, right? Big change here, guys. So happy that we're getting some more vault space. If we can get up to that 1,000 mark, that'll be even better. And change number 21. Fellas, we have a spear to give away. It should be coming in at some point this week. We will be doing a raffle on our Twitch and then doing a competition of sorts. Maybe we'll do some Destiny trivia. Maybe it'll be a fashion contest, or perhaps you'll all fight to the death. It should be fun. So if you want to come by, guys, and check out this spear, I'll be swinging it around pretty much all week long. Hopefully I won't break this thing before we ship it off to one of you, but the giveaway for this thing is happening this week, so come check us out. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.